Nobody can hear us.
Oh, yeah, that might.
I was doing a silent stream up until this point. All right, they should be able to hear us now.
Awesome.
Hold on, I'm gonna add you in the description. Reviews, mic on. All right. There is currently 3 viewers. If nobody can hear us. Wolfcat left.
Oh, yeah.
But okay. No, we don't have Thanksgiving here. We do have like Black Friday is pretty much attached to Thanksgiving, I guess. Like not like holiday wise, but it just happens close to Thanksgiving, and we do have Black Friday these days, but we don't have Thanksgiving.
Okay, I didn't think you did, but again, I wasn't 100% sure, so I'm like, because I know a lot of other countries have like Christmas and Independence Day and stuff, but
yeah, we
when
do
it comes
have
to like
Independence Day, just not Thanksgiving.
right, because when it comes to our personal holidays, it really depends on what country you're in.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, when is your Independence Day then?
Hold on, let me look it up. It's Liberation Day. It's on the 5th of May.
Oh, nice. Do you usually do anything to celebrate it?
Not really.
Or...
It's mostly just we don't really do much for. So we do have like on I believe May 4th, like one day before, we like do like a memorial service for the people we lost during World War II. But we don't really do anything for May 5th or anything. We don't have a day off or anything.
Oh, that is interesting because in America, it's usually a huge thing.
Yeah, true. I've heard that.
Like, yeah, we usually have
4th of July, right?
Yeah. We usually it's usually people usually get the day off unless you like work at a grocery store or something, and then people usually have cookouts and there's usually fireworks.
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
no, we only have fireworks at like what do you call it, like New Year. But even now they're trying to ban it because it's just a lot of like noise and stuff, and people just can't stick to the rules. So we keep having people with like illegal fireworks and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah, that's not too great.
Yeah, I'm personally really not a fan of fireworks. Like a lot of people I know like it, but I don't know, it makes me really anxious and stuff. So I'm not a fan.
No, I get it. Like, to me, fireworks are fine, but it's like, okay, can I bring some headphones or something to muffle the sound a bit?
Yeah, because
I like the colors, but it's the noise where it's like, that's
pretty,
a lot.
It's so much noise, and it's also just a lot of like a mess after like New Year's Eve is done, or like at midnight we're allowed to light the fireworks. And then after that, it's like everywhere is a mess for like the next month or so because people don't clean up their own messes. So there's like junk or left of fireworks everywhere. So.
Yeah, I've never actually had to clean up after fireworks, but we do know that if you do use fireworks improperly, you can actually lose some fingers.
Yeah, true. I mean, I know someone who lost an eye, so.
Oh no.
I mean, not directly, but it's like the sibling of someone I know, so.
Oh boy. But yeah, how have you been?
Very tired, long day, didn't start off so great, not going into any details, but I just really wanted to stream right now because I need to get my mind off of stuff, so, keep it going. And how are you? I mean, I guess it's morning for you?
It's around, it's 12:22 p.m. my time.
Oh, okay.
Because
I'm really that early.
Yeah, and since I'm Eastern Standard Time, I'm roughly about you're roughly about 6 hours ahead of me.
Ah, I see. Yeah, I suck at calculating that kind of stuff. I only know like certain time zones of like American friends I talked to a lot in the past, but like you're a relatively new friend, so I keep having to learn your time zones and when you're on and when you're not.
No, that's okay. That's why I have your that's why I have you pinpointed, well, your capital at least, in the world clock on my phone. So that way I can just look at my phone to see what time it is your time.
Oh, maybe I should do that too. That could maybe help.
Yeah, because then I can tell, okay, tech is not going to respond right away because it's 2 a.m. their time.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I'm also just, even during the day, like, I tend to check my phone. Like, they're pretty chill about it during my internship. But it's like still, I'm like really busy and stuff. So sometimes people send me like big messages, or they really expect like a big response from me. And I'm just at my internship, and I always try to do like a quick response. Like, I'll respond later. But I don't know. I'm always really tempted to like type out a big response. But I suck at typing at my phone. You may notice sometimes that I make like a lot of spelling errors. That's mostly when I'm on my phone, because my fingers are just too thick for the for the keys on my phone. So yeah. Oh well.
Say like when I type on my phone, not I usually end up making spelling errors, and plus autocorrect likes to jump in when it's not welcome, and it's like I didn't mean that word.
Yeah, exactly. And I have my autocorrect turned off because it's just too annoying to me. And especially since my phone is in Dutch, so it would probably correct to stuff in Dutch. So that's not very helpful when typing in English. And I know I can change my phone's languages to Dutch, but for some reason other apps won't properly work if I change the language to English, because my previous phone actually had the language set to English, which I really prefer, because most of my apps, like, Twitter, DeviantArt, YouTube, I use all of those in English, and I only really use stuff like WhatsApp in Dutch. But then there's the fact that like some apps, like especially Weight Watchers, which I use for like my dieting and stuff, it just won't load if I set my phone in English. That's definitely an app I need. So yeah, I have to use my phone in Dutch. And I know you can probably put your autocorrect settings in into English at some point, but I don't know, that's just too much of a hassle for me. So I guess I'll just keep making errors sometimes.
Yeah, I've never really had that problem. That's because everything I do is only in English.
Yeah,
So
that makes sense.
yeah. Um, hmm. So yeah, right now, I'm just trying to work on my novel a tiny bit, but we'll see because I right now I'm just busy with art, which is perfectly fine, but sometimes I struggle on where to divide my time, especially
Yeah,
because I have grad school
yeah,
in
that
there
makes
as
sense.
well.
Yeah, that makes
Because it's
perfect
like,
sense.
yeah, which, funny enough, one of the later scenes in my novel actually also takes place at like an abandoned
I
fairgrounds.
mean, that's like my one of my favorite settings ever. Just abandoned amusement parks. It's like just a great setting for literally anything.
It is like there's just so many possibilities, and it's just you can have a lot of fun scenes in there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's so much potential. I love the locations like that.
yeah, like any like weird location in the apocalypse can always just be so much fun.
True, true. Like, I guess
Yeah.
Outcast Grove is technically also post-apocalyptic, because the humans left and abandoned all their dogs, left the entire continent, so everything's pretty much being overtaken by the dogs and stuff.
Yeah, I mean, but to be fair, I mean, they're probably running the government a bit more fair than we are.
Yeah, true.
So, yeah. Although they can't really build anything because they don't have thumbs.
No, they
So,
can't. I mean, there's like, I believe I have like small things they build, like, I don't know, like makeshift dance out of like barrels and stuff, but that's basically just turning over a barrel on its side and putting a blanket inside. So
right. That's like very basic stuff.
yeah, and it's
Um,
like, it's not like all the ones where I had some of the characters sometimes hold stuff with their paws, and where they sometimes build like on their hind legs and stuff. Like, I'm really trying to be more like less anthropomorphic this time. Like, they still can talk and have emotions and stuff like that, but they're more like, they don't have thumbs this time, so pretty much most things dogs can do they don't. Like, there may be some exceptions which you can chalk up to, like, suspension of disbelief, but most of the stuff will be more realistic-ish.
Yeah, and that makes sense. Um, yeah, because the one thing that's always like slightly bugged me in some fantasy series is when the animals don't have thumbs, but they manage to make armor.
Yeah,
And I'm sitting here like,
guilty
yes, I
as
would
charged,
actually.
guilty as charged in all at once.
Honestly, though, I would like to see the process because it's like if you can explain the process to me, then I will accept it. But other than that, I'm just sitting here like, how?
Yeah,
Because, but,
there was
but
no
that,
process. I just thought it looked cool, and that's pretty much it.
and again, that's completely fair because usually I'm the type of person where, um, I know there's like soft fantasy and hard fantasy where hard fantasy is like very strict rules, and I definitely lean more into that genre
Oh yeah,
versus more soft fantasy, which is more like the Wings of Fire
yeah,
stuff where the dragons are like building all these things and yeah. Again, I'm just that's just me as a person. So
yeah. No, that's totally fair.
yeah.
Like I mean, I'm sure I've wondered in the past how, like, wolves and stuff and dogs can make this stuff, but for all once my main mentality was just it looks cool, so I'm doing it. And honestly, that's the same thing with the cybernetic eyes. Though the cybernetic eyes actually have like an explanation if you read the short stories how Lin got theirs. One eyes is never explained. The first one he has, not the second one he steals. Uh, but Lin's eye is actually explained in the short stories. So a lot of people wonder how she lost her eye in between episodes 1 and 2 because I never really touched on it in the series. But it was explained in the short stories along with a lot of other stuff. And people mostly don't read them, but I'm like, I did technically explain it. It just wasn't really relevant to the story, so that's why I didn't explain it.
Yeah, and that's completely okay too. I'm just keeping an eye on the chat here, and someone just popped in the chat. So
Oh,
hello.
hello, Wolf Lover 09. Hello, welcome.
Yes, I'm just keeping an eye on the chat because I figured you're busy with drawing. So
Yeah, yeah, thank you. And I also, even if I am not drawing, I always forget about the chat. I'm like the worst streamer ever.
no, that they're like you're not trying to ignore your audience on purpose. It's just I do the
Yeah,
same too, where it's so easy to get caught up in certain things, where you completely like, oh yeah, that's right. People are talking to me.
yeah. Especially since we're like in call. So like when I'm alone, I tend to chat. Can't talk. When I'm alone, I tend to check this chat quite frequently. But right now, I'm like talking to you, so I have someone to talk to. So I'm not constantly checking on the chat.
Right. And again, you could just say, oh, Kristen distracted me. Like,
Yeah, it's all your fault. How dare you? No, kidding.
yeah, I know you're kidding. Um, but yeah, so yeah, the thing with Thanksgiving is that some people meet up, others don't, which my family we just usually do a small celebration by ourselves.
Mhm.
Uh, we usually decide to meet up for Christmas, although that's not happening this year
Due to COVID.
because most of the people in my family are vaccinated, but some people aren't.
Oh yeah.
So we're just not meeting up, and it's like, can we just not invite the people who aren't vaccinated?
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, because America's being stupid with the whole not getting vaccinated thing. So
Oh, the Netherlands too. Don't worry. We also
yeah,
have like a lot of people who refuse to get vaccinated. It's not just in the US.
uh, but it's just frustrating.
Yeah, it's really frustrating, and I know some who don't get vaccinated. I was actually one of the first people I know that got vaccinated because I live like in a what do you call it, like a group housing for people with autism and stuff. And apparently, housing institute, what do you call those? Like group houses and stuff for people with like disabilities or whatever, or autism. I guess isn't classified as a disability, but it did classify it for like the vaccination. Those apparently get like first, like not the first. First people who get vaccinated are like the elderly and people in like the medical field.
Mhm.
But after that, some of the first people who get vaccinated is people who live in like housing for like quote unquote disabled people. So that's yeah, that's why I got vaccinated pretty early. I got vaccinated on the same day as my grandma. So yeah, that's funny.
Ah, nice. Yeah. Um, it took me a while to get vaccinated just because I had to get everything arranged and stuff.
Oh yeah,
Because I was in college, so I had to wait till I was home to get vaccinated.
I see.
But I did, and it was fine. Like I just got a few flu-like symptoms, but I remember thinking, okay, if this is what the vaccine does, how sick it makes me when I just take the vaccine. I am so glad I am not getting the actual illness.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I know some people who felt a little sick after getting the vaccine, some a little more than others. But I myself just had no symptoms whatsoever, even for the second shot, which is funny because I had like I had a test week or an exam week for college. And I had like an exam like 2 hours after my vaccination, and I was like really anxious. Like I couldn't just move the vaccination, obviously, because I'm like in a group home.
Huh?
But I was really anxious that I was like going to get sick or something like that, because otherwise I obviously wouldn't be able to make it to the test, and it was quite frustrating. But yeah, I couldn't move the test because it's like an exam, and exams are like done by the state in the Netherlands, so you can just go up to someone to the college and be like, hey, move it, because it's like it's decided from like the higher ups in the government. So obviously I was like really anxious, like what if I get sick, what if I can't get the exam, like then I'd have to wait or something like that. And I don't know, I really prefer to take the exam whenever I can. So
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Uh, yeah, for me, since I'm in grad school and well, this is still happening, but all my classes are online due to,
COVID.
everything that's been happening. So I got the Johnson and Johnson vaccine, so it was very much a one and done
Mm-hmm.
type of thing. Oh, hey, another person in the chat.
Yeah, funny thing, they actually
But
share a name with one of the later characters in Outcast Grove.
oh,
Just the
nice.
character named Cricket.
Uh, that's adorable. Uh, and so thankfully my class was online because like slowly throughout the day I started getting more and more like flu symptoms.
Mm-hmm.
So when I had to go to class for 3 hours, I was like so tired. Like it was that
Yeah.
type of illness where you just want to sleep.
Yeah, exactly.
And thankfully I was like fine like a day after, but like I was like, oh my gosh, I had to go to this class for 3 hours
Yeah.
and I feel terrible. So I was very glad it was online because then I could just, lay down and I wouldn't have to move.
Yeah, exactly. No, that makes total sense.
Yeah, so after my class was over, I basically ended up just passing out and just falling asleep.
Mood.
Yeah, and then I was fine.
Ah,
So
neat.
it wasn't too bad, but yeah, we have some anti-vaxxers in our family, and it's like,
Yep, me
what are you
too.
doing?
Me too. Not my favorite uh, type of you know people to talk to, but I'm not even going to try debating them. I mean, like they're so dead set. Yeah, I know it won't make like any difference. We've tried, but yeah, it's like talking to a wall. It just doesn't budge.
Yeah, human beings can be very stubborn in what they believe in, which can be both a good and bad thing depending on the situation.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you like, there's also a difference between people who can't get vaccinated. Like I know a few people who either had to get their vaccine late or just can't get vaccinated for medical reasons. But that's obviously like a whole different reason. But like just choosing not to actively and then complaining when the government takes like more measures, I'm like, yeah, you're one of the reasons they're taking all those measures.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I totally get that. Like, I completely understand if someone can't get vaccinated because they're like allergic to, the ingredients or whatever. But
Yeah.
if they actively decide to not get vaccinated, it's like, okay, that's on you, buddy.
Yeah,
Like,
and like our hospitals, I don't know what the situation in the USA currently is, but I also don't know the current situation in the Netherlands. But like a few days ago, there was like a threat of like go black. I don't know what you call it in the US, but that's basically that the hospitals are so full that they have to start basically picking which people they take in and which they don't because the hospitals are simply too full. And currently, don't think we're in code black, but there was like we were about to be in code black a few days ago. So yeah, that's obviously really bad, which is why we're in lockdown again. We went in lockdown like I believe a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, we were out of lockdown for like a few months. And stuff went okay, but they also did stuff like ban masks, or like lift the what do you call it, lift the mask rule, so you didn't have to wear a mask anymore. And they did stuff like open the nightclubs, and just get rid of the 1.5 meters rule. I don't know what it is in feet. Like I know
Oh,
the
6 feet.
okay,
That's
yeah,
the U.S. rule is 6 feet.
in the Netherlands, it's 1.5 meters. I don't know what that directly translates to. Maybe it's 6 feet, but I also know that there are some distance rules between, like, that it varies between countries. So who knows? But yeah, that was like, yeah, I personally didn't agree with them getting rid of those measures. Like, I get lifting the lockdown after a while since stuff was really looking good, but they just got rid of all of the measures pretty much instantly, which is just not a smart move if you ask me.
Yeah, I mean the U.S. It's basically been not great since day one. So
Yeah,
uh, because especially because the U.S. is so big, our hospitals are just so full
yeah,
of people who got the disease. So
yeah,
it's just one of those things where it's just like feels like it never ends. I mean, this has been going on for over a year
yeah.
now, and it still feels like, well, there still feels like there's no end in sight. So,
Yeah, I was
oh
actually
boy.
supposed to go to Dutch Comic Con this weekend, and they've moved it. I actually bought a ticket for last year in March, which was before the pandemic hit the Netherlands.
Hmm.
Then it got moved to November in 2020. Then they moved it again to March 2021. Then it got moved in March again to this November, and now, like, literally a week before Comic Con was about to be held in the Netherlands, they had to move it again because of the lockdown measures. So yeah, I mean, I get it. I totally support that decision. It's obviously probably not very smart to have like a lot of people in one big hole, or like a few big holes right now. But at the same time, I am kind of sad. But it is. I totally support the decision, obviously.
Yeah, like you get it, but it's also kind of annoying because it's
Yeah, and I
like,
mean, it's the
it,
fourth time and they already moved it. And I mean, like 4 times moving something like that. That's so much. Like, I get moving it once or twice, but each time they like this time they were literally about to just, they had everything arranged and the lockdown was lifted, and then like just 1 week before it started, like last week I believe, they just like, what am I doing? I'm pretty sure I broke something. Oh no, okay, I didn't. Then last week they just announced, like a week before Comic Con was about to take off. Like they had all the guests arranged and stuff, and then just a week before it all. Yeah, that's just so hard. That is just a week before everything starts, and then they are like, nope, lockdown.
geez. Yeah, that's not too fun.
No,
Like, but yeah, the US, we haven't been handling this well at all, especially in terms of economy and everything. And
Netherlands hasn't been either. Don't worry, we have like this big flop of a prime minister, so
yeah, it's just like, can we please get someone competent
yeah,
on board?
please.
Like, Biden is a lot better than Trump, but they still have that mentality of they don't know how much things actually cost.
Yeah, yeah, it's just, it's gonna be so frustrating. Like the Dutch government as well. We have just a bunch of, yeah. I mean, the Dutch government in general is just frustrating. We had elections like ages ago, and they still haven't like formed a. I don't know what you call it in English. Wait, let me translate it. Uh, keeps translating it literally. Like you have the word cabinet, and they keep translating it to cabinet, like the closet, the cabinet closet, and I'm like, no, that's not what I'm looking for.
They don't have a cabinet for the government yet.
Yeah, that's like we had elections like ages ago, and I believe in like February, and they still haven't formed one, like a proper government. We have to like select from different party members. We have a different political system from the U.S. In the U.S., you have like Democrats and Republicans, and we have like a room. Yeah, we call it the room in Dutch, but it's basically like our government, consisting out of 2 rooms. And basically, the second room does all the ruling. I don't know if it has like a direct translation in English, but if you translate it literally, you get like the second room. And basically, it consists out of all kinds of party members that we've elected, and there's all kinds of different political parties, and like the party with the biggest amount of votes gets to have like their prime minister. Their like person is like the prime minister, I guess. I don't know, like if this is 100% how it works, but that's just very roughly me describing it. And yeah,
Different
so
in the US.
they've been struggling to like form like a proper government, despite the voting being in like I believe February or something like that. So it's been ages.
Ah, geez, that's a mess. Yeah, we still have some conspiracy theorists in, you know, our country where they still believe the election was rigged, and it's
Oh
like,
yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean we have those in the Netherlands as well, but I think like they're a little bit less prevalent. Like there are definitely conspiracies about the government, but it's more just people criticizing our prime minister because and our minister of health because they keep flunking stuff like the lockdowns and stuff. Then actually people like I'm sure there's people who like really have conspiracies about like our prime minister and stuff, but it's mostly just people being really critical towards the mainly our prime minister and minister of health because they just keep flunking everything.
it's just like, can we please have some, slightly younger people on the government? Because
Yeah.
when you get like 70 old white men, it's just like, okay, you don't know what the economy is like these days or what people have to do, like sit down. Because it's funny because in any other job, they would basically be forced into retirement in the US because they'd be considered too out of touch, but for some reason they're considered perfectly fit to run government, and
Yeah,
it's like,
exactly. Yeah,
huh?
like I believe our government is a little bit less like old white men than in the US. From what I have seen, I have not seen a lot, but I do keep up with the elections, obviously. So this may just be wrong, but I do believe we have like a little bit more diversity, but it's only like a little bit. So it's still not. I mean, it's still saying it's good. Obviously, it's just maybe a bit more.
Yeah,
But
we
I don't
barely.
very actively keep up with the Dutch politics. Like I do the basics, but it gets so exhausting after a while.
Hmm. Oh, hey, a third person in the chat. Hooray! That's 3 people now. Awesome.
Anonymous writings. Hello, welcome.
Um, yeah, so it's just like, I mean, these government people are basically the people who went to college when you could actually pay your way through college by yourself. So they're like, oh, you don't need to get student debt, and it's like, have you seen student debt lately? Like, people having to sell their kidneys
Oh,
to attend college.
yeah. I guess
So
that's something we do have in the Netherlands. That we have like the college. I mean, it's still not great, but we have it a little more figured out than the US, I guess. But it's still not perfect. So, but it's our
yeah, I'm kind of envious because some countries will let people go to college for free, and it's like, can we have that?
Yeah, I mean we don't have it
But
for free, but
yeah,
you basically like either you have to pay it yourself over here, I believe, or you have to take like what do you call it, like a loan? I don't know, like you borrow it from the government and then you pay it back over a few years. But it's not like I've heard in the US that it can apparently be like $100,000 or something, and I believe over here it's like a few thousand, 10,000 maybe. I don't know.
yeah,
So
but the US our student loans are ridiculous, especially because with interest they'll just keep building on top of the same loan.
yeah, yeah, that sucks. We're getting very political
Yeah.
today. Yeah, I've never really talked politics on a stream before.
I mean, it is quite interesting learning about the politics of a different country, though,
Yeah, true,
because,
true.
yeah, in the US, we don't really learn about too many world politics besides what you see on the news, and even then, that's pretty sparse.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we don't learn about too much world politics either, but we do try to keep up, especially on my like the college course I'm following. So since it's kind of politically oriented ish, not directly, but it's more like the juridical side of things, like that kind of stuff. But it's mostly the politics of the Netherlands, I guess I have to keep up with. But I also try to keep up with like the outside world, obviously, just because there's so much going on, and it's a very politically heavy moment right now with this COVID and the vaccinations and everything. So
Yeah, yeah, that makes sense. Um, yeah, I mean, for me, sometimes I talk politics, sometimes I don't, just because, as part of our training as counselors in grad school, we're basically told to, keep up with current issues. And
oh yeah.
we actually have a lot of classes on multiculturalism.
Mm-hmm.
So, because that's very important to take into account when you're counseling someone is, how their culture is going to impact them seeing things and what policies you have to, give them and stuff like that.
Oh yeah.
So it's basically drilled into us that we basically have to keep up with some stuff, which, can be rather exhausting
Yeah, I
sometimes.
totally figure.
Yeah, especially because a lot of people in the healthcare field, even in counseling, we get this thing called compassion fatigue. Fatigue?
Fatigue,
I
yeah.
don't know where basically we have to usually have our own counselors because after a while we just get so burnt out of just hearing
Yeah.
people's,
Yeah, that makes sense.
just having to help people. You get burned out from that after a while.
Exactly.
Like, even if you enjoy helping people, which obviously most counselors do, you can't just, you have to basically you basically have to make sure you don't take your work home with you and give yourself that mental break,
Yeah, that makes
essentially.
sense. Anonymous Writing says the student jobs in the US are pretty terrible. That's why it's somewhat viable to go to trade school instead. I don't know what trade school is or what the difference is between college and trade school, but that's again because we have a very different school system in the Netherlands. Like we do have a Dutch equivalent to college, but I'm not 100% sure what it is.
Trade school in the US is basically where you learn how to do basically a lot of different life skills for a company. For instance, you get to learn, if you go to trade school, if you learn to be like a plumber or electrician or just very maintenance heavy stuff,
Mm-hmm.
which, there's always a job in that. And it usually takes like 4 years for your apprenticeship to end, but it's less expensive than college. And, if you're like an electrician, you're never really out of a job. So
Yeah.
that's like the main difference is lots of maintenance heavy stuff. It can be found in trade school.
Okay, I see. I'm trying to drawing turning around, but I don't know how. How does one turn this character around?
I mean, that looks pretty good so far.
Nah, I had to delete it. It looked ugly.
One thing that might help with turning them around is if you draw the line for, like, draw like the little arc thing for where you want him to end
Oh yeah,
up,
true.
and you put it at a certain place. Like if you put it on like the end of his nose, you can just follow that throughout
I never
where
done
to
art
place
writing. I don't know
his
how this
face.
works. I'm just gonna.
It's kind of like what you would do in animation for a character turnaround, essentially.
Oh, I don't do that in animation either. I just draw some frames and then I in between. I'm not a good animator. I never said I was.
I don't even know how to animate. I just know how to do PMV stuff. So, I mean, but I do know that technique that animators use to help keep stuff consistent. Also, you can also just copy and paste as well, like if you want.
True. I guess I'll just have him like turn around like this. Oh dear, what am I doing? Uh, I originally wanted his turnaround to be only one frame, but I think I'm gonna have to do more.
I mean, you could always do a smear frame if you want.
Nah, I don't think that looks good in PMV. Since it's going to be on
Oh,
screen for like a longer time. I'm not animating. I'm PMVing. So
Okay, an anonymous writing says that trade schools focus on specific trades at work, such as wielding.
Ah, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, it all works a bit
Um,
different in the
yeah.
Netherlands.
Yeah. I mean, I really only know the U.S. system because I've never really gone to school anywhere else.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, and I've only gone to school in the Netherlands, so
yeah, it makes sense that wouldn't really know each other's schooling because, with the fact that we're only in one country and we're going to continue our education only in one country, there's no
yeah,
real need to learn about a different system unless we're going to like move there.
yeah, true, true. I think I got this figured out, and then I put his head over here.
That does look really good.
Thank you. I don't think I'll finish this today. I'm feeling really drained, but I just really want to stream right now because scene 3 is about done. Like, if I finish scene 3, like, probably Friday, then I can't stream for a while because I will get to scene 4 and scene 5, which are major spoiler scenes, and, I want to keep things a secret. So I can't stream those. But scene 3, up to scene 3, I could actually stream, so, that's why I really wanted to stream these free scenes, and after that I may be able to join your writing streams actually, because I won't be able to live stream me quote unquote animating for a while, since then I'll be free at, like, the times I mentioned, between 6 and 7
Yeah.
CEST. But up until now, I just really wanted to stream these first 3 scenes, because those are the only non-spoiler scenes. And I may still do, like, concept art streams for because there's, like, a lot of concept art I need to draw and redraw because a lot of old art is, like, dated and stuff.
Right. One thing you could try is because the thing with the streams is that you can actually turn your video off. You don't have to have your video on with OBS.
Okay, but what am I streaming then?
Uh, I don't know, but you could just I don't know, but we could just have audio, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, I
um
don't think that'd be very interesting. I always like to have something on, but I guess if, like, for the concept streams, I could also just have calls, so I could just do the audio call, or I'll just
yeah,
join your writing streams. Obviously, I really like to do that. I just was really busy with these first 3 scenes because I just wanted to get them done, and
right.
this is the final
I
shot for
completely
scene 3s.
understand. Like I enjoy being on call in your streams, so it's like I don't want our streams to conflict because I like going to your writing streams. So it's like you know, and it's like I want to join your streams. So even if I'm not on call, just watching is just fun. So to me, it's just like yeah, I want to make sure I'm able to join your streams. But if you want to do like a private stream with like writer or someone who knows your script, you can also I think you can set the stream to either private or
Yeah,
unlisted
I can do
as
unlisted because
well.
last week I actually once streamed and it was unlisted, and I kept wondering why no one showed up, and apparently it was unlisted. So
Ah, okay.
I don't know how I did that because I don't remember selecting it to be unlisted, but I kept streaming and nobody showed up, and it didn't show up on my channel, and I was like, what the hell's wrong? But it was just unlisted apparently.
Yeah, so if you want to like so if you want to do a private stream with writer who knows your script, you can also always do that.
Yeah.
Uh And since I'm doing some backgrounds for you, the thing with the backgrounds is you can just tell me what to fix. Like, if you don't want to go into any specific spoilers, you don't have to. Although, I don't really mind spoilers. But that's just me. So, uh, yeah, which I'm very excited to do the backgrounds for
Oh,
to do backgrounds for you because
I can't thank
it
you
gives
enough.
me
Honestly, I suck at backgrounds, so having someone actually competent at backgrounds it's really great.
well, that and it gives me more practice for stuff that I've never really drawn before. So it's like, oh, yay, practice.
Awesome. Did it look like the sketch you showed me, or like the pre-done background? I guess looked really great, so I really like it.
Ah, thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, Um, yeah, I'm just excited about that. I also still need to make that map for you so I know
Oh,
where
that's
to
okay.
place
There's no rush for
things.
the map, but yeah, it would be nice if I had a map. But yeah, it's for now. I'm just working without a map. It's the map is in my mind, and your map doesn't have to perfectly correlate to mine in the one in my mind. But for now, it's just especially since episode 1 has like you don't really see the characters go from one location to the other all that much. So there's like no real position errors really if that makes sense. But in later episodes, there will possibly be like on-screen crossing over between areas. So obviously, then it needs to make sense. So
Right, right. I mean, I can send you a transparent PNG of the map, so that way, if you want to, rearrange where like the fairground rides are and stuff, you can totally do that. Like, I will not mind at all because since you have the script, you obviously know where locations are in the future and where everything is.
oh sure,
Meanwhile, I'm just gonna, do a lot of guesswork and be like, I think this is where it's supposed to put stuff, but again, I do not mind if you end up rearranging that.
oh sure, that's great. Thank you.
Yeah. Because if I don't have it on a background, you can just literally download it and just, put things where you want them. I'll just be, drawing rides and stuff
Oh yeah,
because, fairgrounds,
yeah.
which I am gonna try to look at your older streams to see what rides you already have to
I
make
have been really avoiding drawing the rides. I just always put some roller coaster tracks in the background and call it a day. To be honest, but in like
right,
in the first shot of the preview of the teaser I posted, like the very first Outcast Grove teaser, you can see the first shot which has like a silhouette of the amusement park, and you can see like that it has like I believe a Ferris wheel and like a watchtower and stuff like that. So
right, which I am planning on incorporating those, but I'm just gonna like map out where the rides are so that way if we ever need more of an expansive shot, it'll be more consistent
oh yeah,
if that makes sense.
yeah, true.
Plus that way it'll also help me with designing my own fairground scenes that I have to write. So
Oh
it'll
yeah,
be good
true.
practice. That and there are a ton of photos online about abandoned
Yeah,
fairgrounds.
I mean, if you just look at Pripyat, it has such a like an abandoned amusement park. That's like my main inspiration behind like the abandoned amusement park.
Yeah, because abandoned things are kind of some like they're kind of cool in concept as long as I'm not near them.
Yeah, I mean they're really cool, but they're also kind of scary in a way. Like it has been abandoned by everyone, and that's just I don't know. Sometimes somehow that's a really scary concept to me sometimes.
Yeah, because you don't. It's the whole fear of the unknown thing where you're like
Yeah,
you don't really know what's in there.
yeah, and it just feels very liminal and stuff. Like I don't know if you know what a liminal space is, but it just reminds me a lot of that.
I've heard the word liminal. I'm not exactly sure of the definition. Hold on, let me Google that.
It's basically like a place that's supposed to be like transitional. Like the definition has gotten muddled recently due to the immense popularity, but it's basically like a location that is like a transitional location, and it usually there's like people there or something, and then when it's just abandoned, it feels really just wrong or familiar, I
Uh,
guess. So
you have like those whole abandoned hospitals thing that, like that always creeps me out with the whole concept of abandoned hospitals because it's just like there should be people here, but there isn't.
yeah, exactly, and it also has kind of the same effect with like abandoned schools, abandoned like swimming pools, just stuff where there's supposed to be people and where there's supposed to be something different, and where you get this really familiar feel, but it just isn't quite there yet. That's probably how I would describe it. I'm not sure if that's 100% accurate, but that's the definition as I understand it. So
Right, right. Yeah, I mean, it kind of reminds me of the whole concept of the uncanny valley,
yeah, true.
where,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, something looks human, but it's slightly off.
Off.
So part of your brain's like, something's not right here.
Yeah, exactly.
Which, there's a theory that part of the uncanny valley was actually meant way back when. when humans were hunters and gatherers, our uncanny valley sense was meant to help detect if a person ended up like getting rabies or something,
Ah, I see.
or like they were sick because they would like look human, but they would act just off enough for us to be
Yeah.
like, hmm. So we think that was like an early detector for like rabies or something.
Ah, I see.
Which does rabies happen in your series? Like, do any of the dogs
No,
get
no
rabies?
rabies. I don't know why I decided not to settle on it, but I decided just no rabies. I didn't want it to be like that dark. It's mainly a war story, and I don't really want to like the first season is more like a familial story, I guess, and then season two turns more like mature and more like a war story. But I didn't really. I mean, I considered putting in rabies, but it's not really something I ended up doing.
Yeah, plus rabies would be slightly drifting more toward the zombie apocalypse
Yeah, true, and
type of
I
thing.
mean, I guess Outcast Grove technically is apocalyptic, but it really isn't like a major player into the fact that it's apocalyptic. It's mainly just the setting that's apocalyptic, but there's like the stuff that's going on really isn't all that apocalyptic. It's mainly just dogs living in an amusement park, at least in season one. Season two touches more on the titular Outcast Groves, but season one is mainly the abandoned amusement park, so.
Right. Also, for the rides, do you mind if I sketch up a few concepts
Yeah, of
for
course.
like
Go
I
ahead.
look decayed? Because that seems really fun.
Yeah, sure. I could always use because I absolutely suck at drawing rights. Obviously, like I in the for the past references I've done, I just I wanted to have like background, so I just used public domain pictures of abandoned amusement parks. But anything that's drawn is obviously better. So since I really want to move away from the whole using photos as background thing, I did it all at once.
Right, right. I mean, for me, how I usually draw decayed stuff is I draw it as like pristine as it normally would appear, and then I just like wreck it. Essentially, that's how I draw decayed stuff. Is I'm like, okay, what's going to be destroyed here?
Yeah, I mean the night you did looked great, so that's awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, I just googled like decaying stats. I just googled like decaying animatronics to see what would pop up to see like if there's like a pattern for decay
Yeah.
or anything. Which you see for most decay stuff, you kind of have to think of it along the lines of planes, like where like moss would grow and how it decayed. Like for instance, if you had like a roller coaster track, part of it would be broken off and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Oh hey, a third person.
A third
Well,
person.
no, this is like a fourth person. Yeah, four
One
people.
point.
I
It's
I
one
I, I
point.
can't count.
Don't worry, I can either. Uh,
Yeah, so today I'm gonna help my mom make some pumpkin pie for tomorrow.
oh, neat.
Yeah. Yeah, because for our Thanksgiving we're gonna have turkey, mashed potatoes, corn, gravy, maybe green bean casserole, maybe not. Probably some rolls, cranberries, and pumpkin pie.
Oh, you're making me hungry. I skipped dinner today, so now you're making me hungry.
Oh no! Yeah, I need to actually. Well, I usually eat lunch around 2, so
Oh yeah.
I'm also getting kind of hungry because yeah, I didn't when I woke up it was like 11, so I'm like a bit too late for breakfast.
Oh yeah. You can have brunch.
Yeah, that's true, but I'm home,
Oh
so
yeah. Okay.
you know. Usually I'm fine with eating food on my own, but my parents are just like, "Why are you eating cereal at like two in the afternoon?"
Oh yeah. Oh, also, by the way, I do actually want to ask you whether you want to be like a beta reader for like future scripts, like as soon as episode one like gets going. Whether you want to like beta read this episode one script and onwards.
Absolutely.
Awesome.
Like I love being a beta reader because I get to help out with the project and I get to read things, so it's perfect.
True. True. But yeah, I've already had like I believe one or two people look over at least some of the season one scripts. But the more the merrier. But I just want to keep the prologue for now, kind of like spoiler free, just for the fun of it. Because the spoilers, the prologue script has also been 100% been completed. It has been read over like quite a few times, so it's not like it needs really any fixing.
Yeah, and that's okay. The thing with me is the fact that since, I have a degree in psychology, at least a bachelor's, I'm definitely going to look more into the psychological aspect of things when it comes to characters.
Oh
So,
sure.
which, so just be prepared for that. But that's always what I find interesting is how, if characters' motivations make sense or stuff like that.
All right. I mean, season 1 has entirely been written, so it definitely still needs some fixing. Like, there's some characters that changed genders and stuff, and just some aspects that changed. So it isn't like past the prologue isn't complete yet. But that's why I thought, why not ask you, since you are really eager to help, apparently. So yeah,
Yeah, because I like helping with friends' projects
nice.
just because, I like helping people and I like helping with projects. So
That's
to
great.
me it's just as like, yeah, it's perfect. Um like for instance, whenever I beta read for Lauren, for instance, it's always a fun time
Oh
for
yeah.
me. Yeah,
I
especially
still need to
because
get to
sometimes
the second book. Is it her or there? Sorry, I don't know.
her, but I think in her Twitter profile, she's fine with she they pronouns, but I think she her is mostly more common
Ah,
for
okay.
Lauren.
Just wanted to make sure. Yeah, I still need to get to the second book. I've read or reviewed the first, and I still need to get to the second one. I do plan on getting to it eventually, but just haven't had the time. I have so many books to catch up on, and I'm so busy. And I'm still like, I'm really behind with my reviews. Like, I haven't reviewed a book in like 2 weeks, so like I still
And
have like a queue of reviews that I reviewed like a few like a while ago, but like currently I haven't like really been reading at all like the past 2 weeks. Which, I mean, I made it to my goal of how many books I wanted to read. I read like more than 112 this year, so I guess I
oh
made my
wow,
goal. But I still want to keep reading, but I don't know why, but I'm really demotivated these days to keep reading, especially with how little time I have and how I also want to work on Outcast Growth, obviously. So,
yeah, like that's completely fair. Like if you look at my channel, I haven't reviewed a book in a month, which I really need to start reading the book I'm going to review next. But I did have some books on the backlog, but I accidentally ended up deleting those notes and I can't recover them.
oh
So it's like,
no, that's so sad.
oh, but at the same time, I don't know if I would be able to even give an accurate review of those books because it's been like forever
Oh
since
yeah,
I read them. So I would at least need to go over them again before I reviewed them. But yeah, because for me it's just like I'm struggling the same thing with you are where it's very conflicting on where to divide my time
yeah,
because it's like obviously schoolwork comes first, but after that, with my leftover time, it's like, do I work on my own stuff? Do I like do my novel writing? Do I do drawing or do I read? And like I besides this one book that I'm planning on reviewing, which is The Heart of Glass
oh yeah,
by
I've read
Lady
that one.
Tila, I'm also hoping that I'm gonna be able to get more audiobooks because that way I could do my chores and stuff while I'm
Oh
listening
yeah,
where I don't have to sit down
yeah, that makes sense.
and read because that'll be save me time.
Yeah.
Um, Thankfully for like my coffee and stuff, I actually haven't posted it in a while, so I do have a backlog of where I'm still posting, House of Night reviews on that,
Oh
so
yeah.
I'm not like caught up fully yet, but at the same time, it's just like, you know, I wish I had more time.
Oh, hold on. Some people said something in chat. I'm honestly not surprised. Some cool stream is going on today. Oh, thank you. And Wolfwhite says night drawing. Thank you again. You people are too kind.
Yeah, I mean, you're really good at drawing animals.
I mean, I used to be shit, but now I'm slightly better. Well, Lomon's art style is so ugly. Like, don't get me started.
I mean, to be fair, everyone drawings kind of goes through an ugly phase when they're first learning. Like, you should have seen my drawings of people when I first started out because, oh boy, I did not. know proportions or anything. It does take a while to grasp that type of stuff.
Yeah, true. And I mean, I can only draw animals. There's a reason I don't draw people. I just can't. But yeah, it's hard. And even now, my anatomy isn't perfect. I mean, the only animal I feel kind of confident drawing is like wolves or like canines, I guess, and thylacines. But other than those, I'm like really like help. I need references, and even then, it kind of looks shit. So
I mean, you're trying your best. That's all you really can do. Plus, if you ever want to learn how to draw people or like try it out, I have a lot of good how-to channels
oh
for
yeah, you
drawing
told me that.
people.
Yeah, I may need to check that out if I ever have more time. Currently, I mean, for Outcast Grove, I luckily don't really need to draw humans, especially if I have like for the animatronics like the night and stuff.
Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
because I can always help with those.
luckily, but yeah, I mean, if I ever have like more time and the courage to try, so I definitely want to try drawing, trying humans a try. I mean, I have tried in the past, but it's always looked ugly as sin. So I took those drawings down. I took those drawings down. I can talk.
Well, I mean, to be fair, there's two pieces of art advice that I've heard that I really liked. Is one, art always goes through an ugly teenage phase because you're either just learning or it's not, or the picture's not done yet.
Oh yeah.
And B, every artist out there always has 1,000 ugly drawings that they have to get out of their system before they produce that one perfect drawing.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, like me, I had to get like a few thousand all at once frames done before my art style actually looked like this, which I think the Outcast Rope style so far looks really good. With all at once
Yeah,
style.
I like it. It looks great.
I mean, even if you
Yeah,
look at like scene one in of Outcast Grove, the prologue, and scene like the current scene. Wait, I can grab you a frame of scene one. You can just see the difference. It's ridiculous how much it changed. Hold on, let me grab one. Can I?
I know what you mean with that because even like 2 years ago, how I draw people is completely different to how I draw them now. Like I used to have, like I said, I used to have more of an anime-ish style, and now I'm leaning more toward a Disney
Yeah,
style.
yeah. Like
So
here you have Shadow in scene one, which is kind of like more realistic-ish. The noses are much like more realistic. They have a philtrum. Their jaws are more rounded, their eyes are more human-like, I guess. They also originally had like those dot eyebrows, which isn't present in this frame, but they do appear in other frames. And I referenced all the early frames, but it just ended up looking clunky. And I do still sometimes lose references, but not as like sticking as close to the references as I did because it just ended up looking like a mess. And now your shadow looks like this in the next scene or in like scene 3, and I mean, it looks a bit more cartoony, but it definitely looks better. Like it looks much more expressive, and the eyes aren't as uncanny valley, I guess. So,
your liner also got a bit thinner too.
yeah, this is because the early frames I drew on a very small canvas. If you look like down in the corner left, I'm not sure if you can see that on stream. No, you can't. It says that it's like 2060 pixels by 140 pixels, which is like the dimensions of my full screen laptop because I didn't know how to get like a like full screen frames otherwise. But then I figured out that wait a minute, I can just use the same like proportions, but just on a bigger canvas, and that's why my line art has gotten thinner. It actually is just the same thickness, but my canvas has just gotten bigger. So yeah, that obviously also makes drawing a lot easier because I just have more space and my line art isn't as thick and messy. But it also just is because I have the canvas is just much bigger because I made the canvas like 2 or 3 times as big. So yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, for me, I used to struggle with line art thickness too, especially because like the line thickness for my iPad was different than the line thickness for my laptop on
Oh, I
the same
see.
program because with my iPad, I don't ever draw with like a pencil or stylus or anything. I literally just use my hand
Oh yeah.
for my iPad. But for my laptop, I have like an actual uh tablet.
Oh,
Well,
I see.
it's like an ancient tablet though. I've had it since like ninth grade, so it's it's been around for so long that they don't even make the drives for it anymore.
Oh yeah.
It's like ancient, but it actually still works.
Nice.
So Yeah, I'm just the person where I use things until they actually cannot be used
Yeah, me
any
too. Me
longer.
too. I really hate throwing away stuff when it's still functioning.
I know, because it's like, yeah, I could update it, but like at the same time, the thing I'm using still works.
Yeah, exactly.
So,
Yeah, I have very much the same mentality. I literally also don't get a new phone until my old one literally breaks down. Like that happened like a couple of times. Like mom keeps insisting I buy a new phone, and mine will sometimes be like years old, and then I'll still be like, "But mom, it still works. Why would I get a new one?"
oh, see, so I don't ever get a new phone. What ends up happening is that my parents get themselves a new phone, and then they give me their old
Yeah,
phone.
that used to happen for me, but I ended up running behind with the time so much that I literally didn't have WhatsApp and stuff because of that. And obviously, you do need WhatsApp and stuff in modern society. So they finally got me to buy a new phone because otherwise, I didn't have internet on my phone. I didn't have WhatsApp. So obviously you do need certain like commodities, you know.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I have my mom's old phone, and it's so old to the point where some modern apps just won't download
Oh dear.
on her phone, which doesn't really bug me because it's like it's not like I need most of the apps, but um, at the same time, it's like, well, that would be nice to have, but
Yeah.
oh well, because I mean, her phone's not broken; it still works as it should. So you
Yeah, I
know,
mean, if it ain't broke,
you
don't fix it.
exactly. Yeah, but I'm also quite fascinated with old technology because when my parents were in college, there was no internet. There was just typewriters,
Yeah, exactly.
which I actually have my grandparents' old typewriters,
But that's so
old
cool.
type, and not even electronic typewriter. Like we're talking like the old kind, which
Nice.
is quite interesting to learn because apparently to make an exclamation point on a typewriter, you have to press like three keys at once.
Wow.
Yeah, which honestly, like I'm just amazed by how far technology has come just in like 3 generations. Because my parents, there was no internet, cell phones. You couldn't access your internet on your cell phone there, which means I also didn't have spell check or anything.
Yeah.
So whenever my mom had to write a paper for engineering, she always had to go to the library and get out books on campus and then write it using her typewriter and have a dictionary for spell check and a lot. It was just a lot.
Yeah, exactly.
Actually, when my mom first went into computer engineering, in order to program computers, they had like these giant cards that you had to punch holes in, and you had to arrange these cards in a certain order and feed them into this giant machine to program a computer,
Mm-hmm.
and it took forever. Like
Wow.
my mom eventually dropped out of computer programming because it was just so time consuming.
Oh, wow. Scene 3 is officially done. Or wait, no, I think I actually
Yay!
have one more shot left, but I'm gonna do it tomorrow. No streaming tomorrow. Friday. Because I'm just too tired right now, and it's about time. It's actually 20 minutes past the time, so I intended to only stream until 7. So I'm gonna kind of end the stream here, I guess. But I don't think I'll stream the final shot since it's only one shot. But I may do concept art streams soon-ish. Just kind of depends.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me again. It's always fun to be on call here and to just see you make progress.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, be sure to hit me up if or when you want me to join one of your writing streams. I may actually have, I only taught you my weekdays. I'm also not available on Thursdays. But I am possibly more available in the weekend. But the thing is that in the weekend I really don't have a set schedule for anything, so I tend to be available very sporadically. So if you want to stream in the weekend, just hit me up, and I'll either be able or unable. But I don't have like a certain time that I'm available in the weekend. So
Okay, yeah, I mean, thankfully, since we're in completely different time zones, I'm usually super available at this time because my classes aren't, most of my classes don't start till like 6 at night. So
Oh yeah. How long have I actually been streaming? Oh, over an hour. Damn.
yeah, it's been quite a bit.
Oh wow. So yeah, thank y'all for joining me. Thank you, Kristen, for hanging out for an hour with me. And yeah, see you later. And yeah, I hope to put out the prologue soon-ish. This has been the last stream for at least the last concept art or a drawing stream for a while. I may do more concept art streams, like I said earlier. But up until then, yeah, see you on the flip side. Bye.